And if you don't mind, I think that the perspective of inclusive economic growth, I mean, that's really very important. From the Minerals Council standpoint, what sort of initiatives do you have to assist with this inclusive economic growth? Do you have any support measures, for example, around junior miners and ensuring broader participation? So you can take us through some of the thinking or initiatives that you have in that regard.
Okay, no, thank you very much. But maybe I'll use the same trick as Bernard. And start off with, given where we are as a country, the number one thing we all need to be working on is growth, economic growth. And economic growth won't happen on its own unless industry is growing. And this reminds me of a saying that they said, ask not what your country can do for you, but rather what you can do for your country. Now, turn that around. From a perspective of mining, this is what I'd like to put forward. Ask not what the mining industry can do for you, but rather what you can do for the growth of the mining industry. Because this is the challenge we face. And I've been observing and listening with keen interest at the conversations around critical minerals. And it almost feels like it's a fashion that we've now all come to like. We're going in head first into this fashion. But the Minerals Council is an organization that's been around for more than 130 years. So you think that we have some idea of what it takes to grow, to develop mines. And it really starts with the basics. Whether it is going to be a critical mineral or a mineral that we have mined for the past 100 years like gold, it starts with the basics. And some of the basics is really where we put a lot of effort in assisting juniors. And it's about speed. How quickly can the juniors embark on exploration, prove up the resource, and be clear in terms of the viability of the ore body. And as a Minerals Council working with half of our members who are juniors, we spend a lot of time navigating the legislative environment, which is hugely frustrating juniors. And it's frustrating juniors and investors. There have been unfortunate instances of withdrawal of investment and the loss of that investment. And so navigating the legislation in terms of securing licenses, engaging with different departments, that is really the big support that our members get in as far as the intellectual capital of the Minerals Council, the engagement capacity of the Minerals Council, given the skills that we have and the knowledge that we have. And that's all that they need, because everything else they can actually do for themselves. And then it obviously escalates the support we provide when you then get onto mind development and so on and so forth. And so I think the really important issue, and I think this also speaks to the question around inclusive growth, because without those basics in place, we can speak ad nauseum about we need to include communities, we need to include women. There are women juniors who are frustrated with the current situation, the youth who are frustrated with the situation. So my message is really, let's do the basics. And I think it's a point that let's focus on the basics, make sure that when somebody applies for a prospecting right, it happens quickly. All departments are working towards ensuring that the prospecting right is issued quickly. The prospecting takes place without interruption and unnecessary disruption in order to prove up an ore body that can be mined, and that's where the benefits will come.
The little expansion, we are giving up on them. So the state capacity we've got must be directed to the state's objectives. Unashamedly.
Thank you.
I think I'll go back to speed, because we are actually in a competition, global competition in many dimensions, and we need to be able to work together as industry, government, and labor, and civil society, not necessarily all the time in combination, but in the right combination to be able to enable speed, which will then give rise to growth